Hello and welcome to Jackie's Garden Spot. I am Jackie, growing in Zone 8B, Alabama. And on today, we are still trying to flip this garden over, guys, for the fall. But our summer crops are still trying to linger around. So we will be harvesting out some of those today. We will also look at the progress of our fall garden. And then we will drop some new seeds coming up for you. So stay tuned for that and let's get started, guys. We have a kind of cloudy, overcast day today, but it's forecasted not to be any rain. I just figured that this would be a good time to come out, drop some seeds today, kind of look and see what's going on around the garden spot. And we're going to harvest out a little bit today. So let's go ahead and bring you over here to let's start with the cucumbers. And as you see, they're still looking good for this time of the year. Again, that spotty mildew sort of likes to take over there. So I stopped spraying it with some neem oil so much because we don't want a lot of that to go into our cucumbers. But as you can see, we do have some that we are ready to harvest out. See all those cucumber guys? Cucumbers are everywhere. They are steadily coming in and they are developing on and on. So we will harvest some of those out today. Blooms are still everywhere. Those cucumbers are doing well. So what I'm doing about the spotty mildew is those leaves that look really infected, I am coming in and pretty much cutting those out every day. Every day you do have to check those leaves because that downy mildew fungus can spread quickly and it will start to affect your fruits and vegetables if you let it spread on. So right now I'm just going through and doing it as organically as possible and just breaking those leaves off. Okay, and let's move on over. This ginger and turmeric is still looking good. I think that I'm gonna leave it. It is dying back, which lets me know and lets us know that it is getting closer to time for harvesting this. So I am going to let it go on. I think that maybe the second week in October, I will be harvesting that out as the weather is getting cooler, the weather is changing, and we'll see what's underneath that soil there. Let's talk about these pepper guys. I had them mislabeled. I had them labeled as the sugar, let's see what's on this thing here. The Sugar Rush Peach Stripey peppers. It is not that. It is actually, as I looked closer at them as they were developing, and they are ready for harvesting as well. But this is actually the Peter pepper. The Peter pepper is a hot pepper. So I will be sharing that out with family members that love that hot pepper um, very shape. So I don't want to taste that hot pepper. So we will be harvesting those out and sharing those with family members that like hot peppers. And then this is right. This fish pepper that I labeled was right. And guys, look at it. Look at those variegated leaves. And that's one little fish pepper coming in. You see that stripy texture on that? Very pretty. So I'm interested to see how that's going to develop out. And then my African bird's eye pepper is still coming in. I haven't gotten anything yet, so we're just hoping for the best with that one. And then as you can see, that massive abundance of, and looks like there's a popcorn tree growing there. I need to go in there and pull that up. But anyway, our massive abundance of peanuts are coming in. So by the end of October, I will be pulling those up. And as I told you, I'm anxious to see what's underneath that soil. Really, I'm anxious to see that one. And then we're at our bell peppers. I do need to come in and harvest some of those out today as well. Those are our 3 bell peppers that's left, and we have one up front that's still left. Our banana pepper is still back there. I will harvest some of those. and the cayenne is next to that. And then beneath that, remember we started that row of, I think that's cabbage or broccoli. I think it's broccoli, but I'll go down that row and show you how it's developing for this week as well. I'm trying to give a weekly update of these greens that we have planted out, as well as we need to update those seedlings today. So stay tuned for that. So in this first row, we do have collards, and I did come in and I received these labels here as a gift. So I did come in and label them so that we'll know what we have out here. So that whole row again was all collards, and they are growing and developing along very well. And then the next row, I think, were collards. Let me check. I didn't label it. Yeah, those are collards as well. So they're doing wonderful. And then this row would be all turnips. And again, this one right here, remember we talked about it last week. I don't think it's going to make it. I will come in and probably have to put another seedling there to replace that one. However, look at that one. And then look at that one, guys. I think it's ready to be harvested. Along with this one, look at those turnip roots. Very good. So those are the turnips. These are some purple collards. They are developing along. And it's interesting to see how all of these were planted the same time, getting the same amount of nutrients, but they are all developing at different stages. That is so interesting, right? Okay, and then we have some Anaheim peppers that's still holding on to the summer here. So again, we do have a mixture of summer and fall in our garden. We have some shishito peppers still holding on. We will come in and harvest those. And I think we have a couple of bell peppers left in here. See those bell peppers? Yeah, so we will have to come in. Some more cayenne through there. We will have to come in and harvest those out. And then this is our broccoli developing along. I love that. They are doing wonderful. And then we have a mixture here down this row. I think we have, well, no, all of this should be cauliflower down this row. We have our tag there. So all of that is cauliflower down that row. And again, at different stages. And then this is a mixture, I think, of broccoli and cauliflowers on this row that we planted out last week. And it's coming along. Some of those died out. I will come in and replace those. Okay, so that's how the garden is developing thus far. And let's move on over to our melons. I don't know how long our melons will be here because we are having awfully cool mornings now and the temps are dropping fast. So let's move over. So these are our collective farmer woman melons. They are developing very well. We have quite a few in here, some down there. So they're coming in all over. And then we're gonna move on along. And we have a lot of blooms there as well. Let me get those blooms. And so moving along to the lemon melons. They are just growing out of sight, guys. See, that's one, that's two. I don't know what these are. Whatever it is, it's not a lemon melon, but they're mixed in. They may be the cantaloupe that I was telling you that volunteered itself. That's another lemon melon, and they're a smaller one. And then we have lemon melons over here, all through there, over there, and then we have more blooms. So we are here for the lemon melons as they develop on out, and then we're going to move on over to those sugar baby watermelons that's sprouting out. I don't know whether they'll develop anything or not. That's these in here, and they're just now sprouting out. I will have to come in. As you can see, I don't like for my melons to grow outside of the border here, So I will come in and snip these off. And this summer when I did that, it proved to bring about bigger melons, but we'll see. Oh guys, yeah, we are gonna get some sugar babies. Look at this. I am so happy to see that. I hope you can see that. Yeah, so we have one at least, huh? So yeah, that's always good to see. I'm glad about that. And let's move on. Right now I'm just going in and lifting as many of the overgrown vines back into the garden that I can, and the ones that will not go in, then I'm just clipping. So this is our harvest for today. We ended up with some King of the North bell peppers, some cayenne peppers, some Tokyo long cucumber, as well as some China jade cucumbers, banana peppers, and some Peter pepper peppers. Pretty good harvest. Let's discuss our seedling table. These are our rutabaga. They are doing wonderful, and as you can see, it's a lot planted in these little tiny little spaces, so we will come out and separate these out today to give them more space to branch out and grow. This lettuce is ready to be planted out. We will be planting that out today. So we're going to start to get rid of some of this off of the table so that we can make room for more of our seeds that we need to drop. Those are Brussels sprouts. They need to be separated out. So I'm going to go ahead and looks like, oh, that Brussels sprout is doing beautiful right there. Can you see it, guys? Beautiful. I don't want to plant it out until it gets a little bigger, so I'm going to keep nurturing it on along. This is also Brussels sprouts, so we'll keep those in their individual containers. They're doing wonderful coming along there, so we'll keep doing that. The onions are coming along wonderful right there. These are still slow to take off. I don't know what's going on, but hey, we'll see. And we will come in, as you saw me moving that out of the way. That's the moringa. We will come in and harvest some of that out today as well. So let me go ahead and get our soil ready, and we'll start to up pot these. Soil pretty moist. What I did was went in, put some water in here, put semi wet soil in my containers, and I let it set for a few minutes. It's still setting in water. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start with the rutabagas first, and I'm just going to go ahead and up pot these into bigger pots to give them room to grow on out and develop so that we're ready to put them out into the garden when it's time to do that. So I know that we're going to do these today. There was something else that I said that I wanted to up pot. I think our cauliflower is still fine right here where they are right now. They're not getting too leggy. These are going out into the garden. And I did want to come in because I did massive plant out those Brussels sprouts, so I do want to give them a little room right there to grow on out. So I will come in and divide those up and plant those out to give them a little bit more room. And I think that's it as far as our seedlings are concerned. These Brussels sprouts here, I think I'm going to leave those for today and see what happens. They are the ones that I will need to come in later and separate out, plant into bigger pots. Our mustard greens are just peeping up, if you can see that. So they do have time to grow before I separate those out and up pot those. So let's get started here. Let me find my little divot. That's one. This is the one that I need to use today. Hopefully you can see me. And I'm just going to go halfway down that little divot hole. I don't want to plant them too deep, but I want to give them room to spread out and grow. Start with maybe these first. I'm going to make a semi mess, so just bear with me here. I need something to put this extra soil in. I'm going to use this for right now. And I'm going to gently try to break them apart here, not to damage the root system up too bad. That's the thing with massively putting those seedlings in here. It's just the not trying to damage the root system when you are trying to get them apart to separate them out. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I may need to bring the camera closer in. Let's see. Hopefully you can see that. Well, let's bring you around this way so that you can see what I'm doing. I think that's a better view of it. Okay. So that's all I'm doing. I'm making a bigger divot with my finger here, which probably works better. And I'm just coming in, making sure that root system is going in the center and mashing down. So another one, coming in, making a bigger hole there. That hole don't want to do right. Well, let's see. And mashing down. And mashing down on that one. These are all of our rutabagas. Again, I'm going to break this up gently. That's one. And I'm going to make my divot and drop it in the hole and plant it. This is another one. That's the seedling. I'm dropping it in the hole and planting. Okay, I think you get the picture, and I'm going to keep on with this tray and this one, and I'll come back on and show you the end results. While I'm on here doing these seedlings, so if you can see, these are the cotyledon leaves, which are the first leaves, or what's called the seed leaves, and then the true leaves are just forming here. So a lot of times people don't like to plant or transplant until they can see the true leaves coming. But I found that it doesn't matter as long as your seedlings are healthy. You can still transplant them or up pot them and they will do just fine. So say for instance with these Brussels sprouts, they have the seed leaves as well as some true leaves forming. So I'm going to up pot those today. With these, and I was just thinking about it as I was looking at these, some of these are still very tiny, so they still have the seed leaves or the cotyledon leaves still there. So I will not move those right now. I don't think that they will survive, but some of them that I did move, I did feel comfortable with moving those. So just something to keep in mind when you are looking at up potting or transplanting your vegetables. So we do have everything planted in. The rutabaga is here, and then the Brussels sprouts are in here. So I'm going to come in and lightly spray them on top here. And they should be on their way. I'm going to come back in and pour off the water that I have them sitting in, because I don't want our soil to get so soaked and then to kind of rot our roots off. But I am giving them a good drink of water here, and I think that that should do it. So they are off and running now. They have enough space to spread out and keep growing. So let's see what seeds we're dropping today as well. So our seeds that we're dropping today are the Florida broadleaf mustards and the red mustards. These are from the Okra Lady. So we'll see what happens with these. So let's go ahead and get these started. And again, I'm not going to come through and plant these very deep because again, they are small seeds. So I'm just making a little divot. I probably need this one. Let's do a little divot in each little cell. Not too deep, because those smaller seeds do not need to be planted deep. That was some of that mulch wood chips. That's why I threw it out of there, guys. But anyway, so that's how those seeds look. I'm going to come in and plant 2 of the Florida broadleaf mustards per cell. They are tiny, so I may be dropping more than 2 per cell. We'll see what germinates there. I'm going to come back in and put those extra seeds there because seeds are very precious. Seeds can be expensive. Okay, and I'm going to just lightly cover those back up. And I'll come back in and water those in. The soil, let me just say that the soil is already moist. I did go ahead and moisten my soil before I even started to plant. So these are the red mustards next. And again, since these are fairly new seeds, I just received them in the mail maybe last week. I'm going to come in and do 2 per cell again. Now, if they were older seeds, that's a question that I did get. I do thank you. I just reminded myself to answer your question on camera. But if they are older seeds, yes, you can still go ahead and plant them. You will just plant more of them because as each year goes by, your germination rate does decrease. But that does not mean that you won't get any germination at all. So I would say if they are 2 years, 3 years old, then do go ahead and drop more than 2 seeds per tray. Do about 3 or 4 per tray to increase your germination rate because those seeds, as they do get older, they do decrease in germination rate. And I hope that was the answer that you were searching for your question. I forgot who asked that question, but I did see it. Okay, so we have those covered. And then I'm just going to come back in lightly with my mister and spray. Okay, that's that. And I will set this over into one of the trays and they're off to the races as well. So next is going ahead and planting out our lettuce. It is very pretty. This is the giant Caesar lettuce. We're going to put our lettuce, since we have it growing in a row here, I'm just going to put this one here. Move back our little straw. And I'm going to try to plant it sort of deep in this area. That soil is very rich. And I think this side is very rich because I did not only put super soil in here, but I did add the compost from the compost bin where I put all of the table straps, kitchen straps in there. So this is super rich over here. I'm just going to put down a little of the garden tone there. Mix it in really well. And then I'm gonna remove my little tack, and I'm just gonna plant this down there. It looks like it was ready to come out. It's super moist here as well. Let me get that a little deeper. Okay. And I'm coming back in, nestle it in so that it will stay nice and moist. There we are. Simple task.